Welcome to Josh's Green Garage. Today you can see I have something really cool here. This is the Little Bull Loader from Little Buck Loader. They sent me a message, asked if I wanted to review one of their loaders, and of course I had to agree. What better opportunity than to get a loader to play with? So we're gonna take a look at this thing, and in this video I'm gonna do kind of my impressions about it, what I think of it, just right here as it sits on the pallet. This is exactly how it ships. I didn't undo anything yet, and then we'll take this off. I'm gonna cut for a minute and then we'll come back and just see what it's like on the tractor. So without further ado, let's get to it. So before we get started, I just want to do a quick little introduction to the company. So Little Buck Loader, they're a small family-owned business based out of Sycamore, Illinois. They've been in business for about 10 years now, which to me is pretty impressive for a company working in such a small kind of market. I mean, garden tractors aren't really the biggest thing going right now, so to be able to still make these things and sell them, I mean, I think that's pretty impressive and pretty neat. So it's a family business. So father and son, Steve and Luke, they started the business out of their garage. And then I've been working a lot with daughter, Leah. She's been really great with, contacting me, getting this whole thing going and whatnot, getting this demo out there. And then also mother, Jamie, they work, doing the website and marketing, all that type of stuff. And they also have a family friend, James, who helps them out building these things part-time. So it's kind of neat that this is just such a tight little family here, working on these things, building them and getting them out there. And like I said, 10 years, that to me says quite a bit. They do make a little bit more than just this loader. This one that you see here is the Little Bull Loader. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier duty than some of the other stuff they have. They also have the Little Buck Loader, and that one, I mean, is more just designed for more easily attached right to the front, and it costs significantly less. So if you're trying to save some money, you could go for something like that. They also make ones for side-by-sides and a front mount to zero-turn mowers. So that's pretty interesting too if you're interested in having some sort of small bucket like that for a zero-turn. That's an option there. And then they make a variety of accessories for these things as well. And they also branch out a little bit into Kubota. So they make these loaders that'll fit Kubotas as well. So if you're a fan of the orange, you can also get one of their loaders for that type of machine. And lastly, before we get started, feel free to check the description of this video. They were gracious enough to give a coupon code, and if it's still active, I'll have it listed down there. And you guys could get a little bit of money off one of these loaders if you decide to purchase one, and it'll also help me out with a small kickback. So I'd appreciate that. So now let's get into unboxing this thing. All right, so just gonna do a little walk around here and just kind of my impressions of this thing. At first glance, I thought, wow, this thing's awesome. It really is. It is a pretty good size loader. Honestly, larger in size than I thought it would be. And I'm pretty impressed with it. This thing is made of, from what I can tell, very heavy metal to start out with. Which is pretty cool to see, being I know online, if you look into these, you'll see a lot of people talking about how they're not quite too sure how sturdy it's going to be with the design of these lift arms. But these are very solid. There's nowhere where it's open on either end. You can see there at the bottom, it's welded shut, and then at the top here, welded shut. So I can't get a good thickness on that for you guys, but I mean, it does seem very solid, and to move this whole top section is very heavy. Big tube cross member there, really heavy. Everything about it is built really heavy. Another thing to point out specifically too is if you look on their website, they don't have this piece here as a brace. It's just the piece of bent steel there. So I don't know if they're all like that since they've been releasing them, or if this is kind of a newer change. But that's on both sides now, and I think that's going to clear up a lot of problems that people might have seen with these as far as how strong it is at that point. So I don't really see that to be an issue. It seems like it's going to be a really sturdy loader overall. The thing is, you got to think with these things, this is designed for an X700 series and, you know, some small Kubotas and stuff. This isn't like a, you know, a larger compact tractor or full-size tractor or anything. Like, this stuff doesn't need to be built to be able to hold thousands and thousands of pounds. I mean, you got to be careful because this thing, I think as it sits on the pallet, was like 350 pounds or something. So that's a lot of weight on the front of these tractors, these small tractors. And granted, you have over 1,000-pound capacity. I'll have to put that exact number in the description, or sorry, in the video. But you can put quite a bit of weight on the front axle of an X758 or 38. I'm not sure the weight rating for the two-wheel drives, but you can put a lot on there. So, I mean, it's a lot, but like, you're not going to be putting so much to where you need to have one of these so strong that it could just lift anything in the world. So I think the way that these are set up, the pivot points there and everything, I think it's plenty for what we need to do with an X700. So I kind of want to hopefully put that whole argument to rest and concerns that people have. But yeah, really nice looking. The only real gripe I have is just kind of the paint quality. Looks like there's a lot of spots where there's still weld spatter all over the place. Probably could have just kind of hit that with a what do you call it, slag hammer or something, to get rid of a little more of that extra weld. But overall it's good. I mean, it's just, you know, regular, looks like John Deere green paint. Whether or not it's actual John Deere brand, I don't know. But I mean, this is fine with me. I mean, I would imagine most people are just gonna have this sitting outside. So if it gets rusted or damaged and you need to repair it, I mean, at least it's easy to, you know, get paint to repair it with. As far as hydraulic fittings go, you can see here they are color coded. They got some tape on the different ones, black, green, yellow, and then they just have the silver fitting on that one, and then just all black fittings. So if you want, you can change these out. I honestly want to change them out to the Deere ones. I'm sure these will interface with the Deere ones to where you can connect them together while in use so you don't get dirty, but I kind of want to just put the John Deere colored ones on there anyway. I still got to just pick up a black one for it. But yeah, that's my initial first impression. Pretty happy with it. This thing's pretty cool. Can't wait to start using it. Pretty neat. I'm gonna put you back on the tripod there and get taking this thing off the pallet. All right, not quite sure how well this is gonna go, but everything is kind of just screwed down. There's 3 screws holding the bucket down, and then this ratchet strap, which is actually kind of a neat little keepsake, I guess. Has a little buck loader on it there, so that's kind of neat. So I'm gonna just start unbolting the bucket first. I'll worry about this stuff afterward. All right, so that's our 3 bolts. Now I'm just gonna undo this ratchet strap. I will say, also looking at this thing, I mean, the cylinders on it are pretty beefy. I'm not sure how that would compare to something like the John Deere 45 loader or the CTC. I would imagine they're all of similar size, but I mean, I don't see any reason to believe that this thing isn't going to be perfectly durable. Seems really nice. There again, for the price point, hard to beat them. All right, now I'm just going to tip this down. I would, if it would reach, I would consider taking the hydraulic hoses, connecting that to the tractor and extending this some first, just so that the wheels are closer to the ground. But I don't quite think I can do that right now, so I'm probably gonna have to tip this back, get it set on the ground, and then move the tractor around, hook it up, and then lift that some. So we'll see, and maybe underneath there might be some instructions or something, so we'll see what happens. Another box. So okay, so this is a pallet fork kit. I also got that. So that's probably what's in there. I'm gonna just check it real fast. These are the pallet forks. These are pretty cool. I think that's a neat addition that you can get for these buckets as well. You can add pallet forks also. They kind of customize the top of these to your liking and what you want. So like you can see here, I had them put just a single chain hook here, because you can use this then, you know, to lift things, whatever, from that hook. You can get hitch receivers put on here, D-rings, whatever you want really. They'll put whatever on there, and then you can see this nice big piece of steel across the top to kind of just support that whole thing. So pretty neat that you have some options like that. You can kind of get these customized to exactly what you want. But I thought the pallet fork idea was a really cool one. They just clamp right onto the bucket, and then they even have some supports that come up to here inside the bucket in order to help brace them. And I think that's about it. So it doesn't seem like there's probably too much. Just a little picture there on how to connect those. So it doesn't seem like there's quite instructions. I know this company has YouTube videos showing how to hook this up. So if I remember correctly, you just hook it up, open, like lift the lift arms a little bit, and then you just raise the jack to where you need it then to match up with the front of the tractor. Like I said, I'm gonna cut this video here, do that in a separate video, and then we'll be back to finish talking about it. All right, so I got it all hooked up now. Continue the rest of this. Installation wasn't too terrible. A couple little issues, kinks here and there to work out, but I think that might just be user error. Regardless, end of the day, I got it on there. So pretty good. I mean, the install of it really wasn't bad. So as far as like an initial impression, I mean, I think it worked fairly well for what it is. I mean, of course, this isn't John Deere built equipment either. So you're trying to, you know, match something that's not made by the manufacturer that has all the exact specs and everything. So all things said and done, I think it worked out pretty well. But yeah, that's gonna do it for my initial impressions of this thing. It's gonna be pretty neat to use. One final little detail, they do have grease fittings here at the pivot points. So at the pivot point here and the one up at the bucket, so you can you want to make sure that you keep those greased up good. So I got my John Deere grease, of course, here, and we'll pump that full to till I start seeing it come out the sides. There, we got a little coming out. So you can keep that greased, you'll be good to go. The bucket, if you have it angled like that, have it lifted up and then the bucket curled all the way back, it's easy to get under here and do your other one there for the bucket pivot. Just like so. And of course there's a little excess there, just wipe that up, but yeah, pretty cool. So now that I got this on and lifted up and everything, I will say some of these welds on these little braces inside the bucket look actually really good. There is still a little bit of spatter everywhere, but really not that big a deal. There again, like this is a piece of farm equipment essentially that's gonna sit outside, so I mean all the little finishing details really isn't that big of a deal on these things. I mean, I tested it out real quick just to see how it worked, just with some mulch and dirt. It works pretty good right off the bat. So I mean, the thing works, like the finish isn't that big of a deal. If you're worried about finish, you're gonna have to go with quite a bit more expensive option, or try to find a Deere 45 loader and adapt it, which is going to be kind of hard to do on a 758 or any of these newer X700s. But I did want to kind of shout out these inside welds. Those look really nice. So that's all. I'm going to say goodbye now, and then I'll cut just to a quick little clip of it lifting and whatnot. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything about this loader, please let me know and I'll answer as best I can. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.